Today on Cptv, a miscommunication leads to controversy about WOW.
A veteran reflects on his life and loss in anticipation of Memorial Day.
And Cal Poly students rally at Relay for Life.
Live from Studio 300 on Cal Poly's campus, I'm Brandon Jones.
And I'm Olivia Bickle. You're watching Cptv.
After 14 years of service, CSU Chancellor Charles B. Reed will be retiring after this year. Reed announced his retirement in an email sent to all CSU students yesterday. In the email, Reed wrote that he looks forward to retirement and plans to spend more time with his family. He plans to keep his position until a replacement is named.
The Cal Poly Week of Welcome volunteers had a confusing week after announcements about changes to the program. Cptv reporter Joseph Corral investigated the controversy.
The WOW program serves to introduce new students to the Cal Poly campus in San Luis Obispo. 750 students are volunteering to be WOW leaders for the week this year.
Over the past 9 weeks, student volunteers have gathered here in Chumash Auditorium every Tuesday night for 3 hours to attend training for WOW 2012.
Last Tuesday, it was announced that WOW leaders would no longer be allowed to take their students off campus.
Dead silent. You could see that everyone was so pissed off.
After the announcement was made, students created a Facebook page to plan a demonstration in the UU Plaza on campus to voice their concerns. In 24 hours, nearly 2,000 students planned on attending.
Make a big change like that and you're going to get a huge repercussion like you did within the first 24 hours.
However, a day after the announcement, an email was sent out by Orientation Programs Coordinator Andreen Kaiwi-Lenting to WOW board, team, and leaders stating that there had been a misunderstanding. The letter stated that she misunderstood the shift to more campus activities as meaning an elimination of the off-campus portion of the WOW program. While effort was made to allow an official to speak about the controversy, input was not provided. Some students did not need an explanation to be pleased with the news.
But I feel like now the administration knows that we will not change that hopefully this won't happen again.
Cptv, Joseph Corral.
While the program will be adding an array of events and activities on campus during the 2012 Week of Welcome, off-campus activities such as hiking and downtown visits will still be allowed.
Well, we have a 3-day Memorial Day weekend approaching us. A lot of people are gearing up.
Yeah, Nicole had the chance to talk to a Cal Poly student who went through a life-changing experience. Nicole, can you tell us about who you talked to?
Yeah, thank you, Brandon and Olivia. I talked to student Chris Hamaker. He actually served in the war in Iraq, and years later, he's still remembering friends who he lost. Memorial Day activities of partying and weekend trips, students like Chris Hamaker, an Army veteran, will also be commemorating those who have fallen in battle.
Battalion, had a 10% casualty rate in Iraq, and so that's 70 guys that were wounded or killed, and that's what Memorial Day is obviously all about, and we tend to forget that.
Chris served in the war in Iraq for 15 months.
When we got our deployment extended, everyone kind of looked at it as a death sentence, and it was just like, geez, no one's going to survive 3 months, and McPeak, McPeak didn't.
A firefight had erupted. McPeak was on the rooftop returning fire. A large round blew off the corner of the building, and this is when Alan McPeak, one of Chris's 7 squad members, was shot and killed only 48 hours before his scheduled return. Chris says McPeak was a guy everyone loved.
And I assure you, not everybody in the Army is like this, but he was one of those guys that everyone got along with.
McPeak always made his buddies laugh, and Chris remembers him as the class clown of their company.
I miss the camaraderie. I miss guys who, like I said, I can see them walk in the dark and just tell who it is by their shadow.
Yeah, so this story actually came at a really special time for Chris. He's graduating in 2 weeks, and he said that he was feeling some anxiety, and so his counselor told him that maybe it would be important to talk about this, and that same night he got my email. So this was really special for the both of us.
Wow, it's really moving to know that we go to school with fellow students who have already gone through some experiences like these, Yeah,
definitely. That's definitely something to keep in mind this Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thousands of prospective students are being turned away from Cal Poly. The university is not prepared to accommodate even 50% of the students applying. At the same time, the campus is not growing as fast as the population and the demand for slots. Only so many seats can be filled each quarter due to a mixture of different demands, some of which include specific funding within each college and the resources that are available to faculty and students. A low level of student acceptance will hopefully help accepted students graduate within 4 years. Graduating seniors are learning that a Cal Poly degree is valuable on a resume. More than 9 out of 10 graduates from Cal Poly's 2010 to 2011 class are either employed or in grad school, higher than the national average. On top of that, the numbers of graduates receiving full-time jobs improved by 3% last year. President Armstrong believes that Cal Poly's learn by doing approach to education is valued by employers.
So I definitely think Cal Poly and Cal Poly's learn by doing approach helped me get my job, especially over some kids from other colleges who have a more theoretical educational background. I was much more prepared to do real-life cases from all my case studies in the finance program.
A Cal Poly education also appeared valuable on Payscale.com's college salary report, where Cal Poly alumni placed number 5 for starting salaries. 91% of students said their careers directly reflected their major.
The California Republican primary is right around the corner, and Cptv reporter Curtis Cole shows you what you need to know to make sure you're in the right place at the right time.
On June 5th, polling places throughout the county will be open for voting. And although there is a booth at the University Union, it may not be the assigned location for each student trying to vote. Whether using an absentee ballot or voting in person, students are encouraged to know their registration status and polling place.
There is a polling place on campus at the Student Union, but it's important that people realize that only those students that live on campus are those that are registered to vote at that polling place.
If students choose to vote by absentee ballot, it is important to find out whether it is being sent to San Luis Obispo or their hometowns. This is dependent on where they have registered to vote.
You know, most important that people, students, check to make sure they know where they're supposed to vote and go to their polling place. If they're voting in another county, make sure that they request that ballot unless they're going to be there on June 5th.
The deadline to request a ballot from your hometown is next Tuesday. For more information or to look up your polling place, go to slovote.com. Cptv, Curtis Cole.
Well, other than voting for the Republican candidate, there are only 2 propositions on the primary ballot. We are taking a look at Proposition 29 in our continuing series on the upcoming primary. Cptv Lindsay McLeod explains the proposition that calls for a $1 tax on tobacco products.
Who do you trust to save lives?
The American Cancer Society,
The American Heart Association, or Big Tobacco?
I'm against smoking, so I thought Prop 29 was a good idea. Then I read it.
According to the California Voter Information Guide, Proposition 29 imposes a $1 per pack tax on cigarettes and other tobacco products. The revenue raised by the tax would go towards funding research for cancer and tobacco-related diseases. By 2013, it would raise $735 million. Currently, the state taxes cigarettes at 87 cents per pack. Other states tax an average of $2 to $3 per pack. Proponents of the bill say this money will help bring California to a level closer to the rest of the country.
Well, it's more money towards cancer research. I mean, everyone wants to find a cure for cancer, and what if the cure is, in one of the research studies that we're able to fund because of this money?
Opponents say that although they support funding cancer research, the bill is flawed.
It raises $735 million in tobacco taxes, but not 1 penny goes to new funding for cancer treatment.
The No on Prop 29 campaign says that the proposition duplicates existing programs. The Yes side says they wrote the prop to save lives, stop kids from smoking, and fund cancer research. To learn more about both sides of the proposition, visit voterguide.sos.ca.gov/proposition/29. For Cptv, Lindsay McLeod.
The proposition will be on the ballot in June, and you can tune in next week for information on Proposition 28.
Cal Poly students still do not know the new name for the bookstore. The Cal Poly Corporation was scheduled to release El Corral's new name on May 15th. Spokeswoman Yuki Nishinaga said the committee is still deciding on the name. In a phone call, she said she couldn't give us a date for the change. This means the winner of the contest to rename the bookstore still hasn't been announced, and the prize, a Vespa, is still sitting in the window of the bookstore. For now, El Corral is keeping its name until the Cal Poly Corporation makes its decision. Coming up next on Cptv, catch your weekend weather update.
Firestone Walker Brewing Company is a 4-time champion at the World Beer Cup.
And the Cal Poly Motor Club Association received a grant rebuild to rebuild a classic sports car.
Because I had a great WOW experience, like going to the beach and like going to all these different places, and so I'm really glad that they changed it back because I think that's going to be really good for all the incoming freshmen.
To Cptv, it's time to take a look at the weekend weather.
Cptv reporter Joseph Corral has our weekend weather update. How's the weather out there, Joseph?
All right, thanks guys. Well, this is a shot of the P on the Cal Poly campus, and the sun is still out, but winds are picking up a little today. Let's look at the weather headlines. All right, so there's a 20% chance of showers tonight, actually, with winds as high as 35 miles per hour, but temperatures will be warming up in the next couple days. Let's look at our 5-day forecast. All right, so Friday and Saturday, temperatures will actually cool down with the high being 64 degrees, but the temperature will warm up in the next 3 days with the highest temperature reaching 74 degrees on Tuesday. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Joseph. It looks like typical fantastic Cal Poly weather for this 3-day weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weather to celebrate Memorial Day.
Awesome.
A local Central Coast brewery has brought home top honors from the most prestigious beer competition in the world.
Cptv's Curtis Cole visited Firestone Walker Brewery and captured the sights and sounds of the man behind the malt.
Craft brewing is just like baking bread. It's a regional art. It's artisan brewing for a local audience. And the brewing process is a 2-week dynamic process, so we have a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot to get to the finish line in a very short amount of time.
Took gold medal for Pale 31, and it's the 4th time it's taken the gold medal at World Beer Cup, so it's relatively dominant in that category. The Mission Street Pale that we make for Trader Joe's took silver, so we took both the gold and the silver out of 3 medals in the category.
And in the beginning there was just a handful of us, so it was a daily grind of brewing and cellaring and doing everything. The good part about being in the craft brew business is most of the people that come to this business are here because they love beer. I think Firestone plays an important role in our local community as well. Is that the pile there? You know, we provide, I don't know, social lubricant, so to speak, and I think a lot of people can relate to their local brewer. I think Frank Zappa said, in order to be a country, you gotta have a military, you gotta have a brewery, so.
All that beer was blended together into a single tank, and then next week we'll take that oak fermented DBA and blend it together with stainless steel fermented DBA to create the DBA that you taste on the streets.
I almost feel like being a brewmaster is somewhat like being the coach of a professional sports team, and my team brought home the Stanley Cup back to the Central Coast for the 4th time, man. It's a really cool thing.
Our very own local brewhouse continues to hold its own in the big leagues of beer.
The Firestone Brewery was created on the Central Coast and is now the #1 draft-selling beer in Ventura, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo counties. While Cal Poly students are walking to find a cure for cancer, Cptv's Lindsay McLeod tells us why students are giving up their weekend to walk for the cause.
Some run, some even bike. Most walk. But everyone at Relay for Life is there with the same end goal, to find a cure to cancer and create a world with more birthdays. The Cal Poly Relay for Life is no exception. This year's event raised $47,000 and they're still looking to raise more. But fundraising isn't the only goal. The event also seeks to help people celebrate survivors, remember loved ones lost, and fight back against cancer.
There are tons of awesome clubs on campus, but there's few where you're actually saving lives, and that's what we do. Every dollar we raise goes to finding cures, taking care of people that have cancer, creating more birthdays. That's what we say, but we mean it.
It's a serious event, but not the whole time. A Miss Relay pageant where guys become pageant queens. A watermelon eating contest. And crazy themed laps are just a few of the ways participants pass the 24 hours. But when the sun sets, it's time to focus on the reason everyone is there, to ensure that no more people have to lose someone they love to cancer.
It's really rewarding and inspiring because there's so many people here who are all joined by the same suffering and then working to fight it and to cure it.
It feels really nice just like being here, just like supporting something that I've gone through, and it really like relates to me since I was diagnosed with cancer. Research and all that other things going on, supporting cancer is really out there.
For the remainder of the night, the track is lit by Luminaria, bags decorated in honor or in memory of loved ones. The walking continues through the night because cancer never sleeps, so for 24 hours, no one here does either. For Cptv, Lindsay McLeod.
So the event is over for this year, but fundraising isn't. Students can continue to fundraise until August 31st.
Many people are avoiding high gas prices and reducing their carbon footprint by finding new ways to commute. Cal Poly Commuter and Access Services provides students, faculty, and staff with alternative transportation. The program helps people get to campus without being the only occupant in the car. Faculty and staff can sign up for the rideshare registry, which arranges a van pool to campus. Commuter Services also maintains bike racks and lockers for those who enjoy a bike ride to campus.
So, it's only a mile away. It's a 5-minute bike ride or a 20-minute walk, so that makes it nice. And St. Louis is really nice, too, that they're putting in more bike paths, so we like that.
If you have a Cal Poly ID, you are also able to ride on slow transit for free and get a discount on regional buses. The program is entirely funded through parking fines, but as it achieves its goal of fewer cars on campus, there are also fewer parking tickets. If people continue to change the way they commute, funding may be needed to be supplemented in the future.
Cal Poly students are examining race in a new light after a visit from conservative black actor. Joseph C. Phillips is best known for his roles in The Cosby Show and General Hospital. In addition to acting, Phillips is also a conservative commentator. He came to Cal Poly on Wednesday night to discuss why race matters in the context of the upcoming election campaign. Phillips argues that Republicans need to address the discussions of race head-on rather than avoid the subject.
Dialogue is what's important. That's it. I think talking openly and respectfully to people is the way that an exchange of ideas, and where better than on a college campus.
The event was hosted by the Cal Poly College Republicans and Young America's Foundation and was free and open to the public.
Cal Poly students are using dance to help children affected by autism spectrum disorder. Dance Beyond the Spectrum, also known as DBS, is a group of Cal Poly students applying the school's Learn by Doing philosophy by volunteering to share their knowledge of dance. These students work with children dealing with conditions in the autism spectrum, such as autism and Asperger's syndrome. These conditions are characterized by social disorders and communication difficulties. DBS helps provide a comfortable environment for children to experience the benefits of dance.
My younger brother has autism spectrum disorder, and he has been doing dance for the past 5 years, and it's been really influential in his treatment and his therapy.
Cameras were not allowed in the studio during dance lessons because changes to a familiar environment can be an overstimulation for children with the disorder. DBS collaborates with the Central Coast Autism Spectrum Center that provides support and services to individuals dealing with the disorder. The dance lessons are held once a week in the Cal Poly Dance Studio and are free for young youth on the spectrum between the ages of 5 and 17. You can request more information about DBS at dancebeyondthespectrum@gmail.com. Coming up on Cptv, the men's soccer team sets an ANCAA record.
Track and field is moving on to regionals in Austin.
And Cal Poly is getting certified as a bike-friendly school.
It was so much fun to go off campus and explore the community, and I think that's what WOW is really about, is exploring what you're going to be a part of instead of just what life on campus is like.
Welcome back to Cptv. It's time for your Mustang Minute.
Cptv reporter Erica Turnland is joining us today. The year's almost over, but our teams are still competing. What's going on with our Mustangs, Erica?
Thanks, guys. Well, the Mustangs are wrapping up their spring season right now. The baseball team is headed to UC Riverside this weekend to close out their regular season. The Mustangs, who are 33-20 and 13-8 in the Big West, are taking on the 21-8 Highlanders in a 3-game conference series. First pitches are set for 6 p.m. on Friday and Saturday and on 1 p.m. on Sunday. You can catch the game on ESPN Radio 1280 or listen online at gopoly.com. Mustangs men's soccer finished among the top 10 Division I attendance leaders for the 5th straight year. The NCAA released an announcement stating that Cal Poly closed the 2011 season with an average of 2,139 supporters per game last season. The highest recorded numbers of fans was on October 14th to a sellout crowd for the Soccer's come-from-behind win over UC Santa Barbara. 10 Cal Poly track and field athletes have advanced to the NCAA West Regional in Austin, Texas this weekend. 3 members from the women's team and 7 from the men's team have qualified. 3 seniors on the women's team qualified in the 300-meter steeplechase, high jump, and the 1500. The men's team is sending 2 competitors for the pole vault, the 1500, hurdles, and the 10,000 meter. That's a wrap for our Mustang Minute this week, guys.
It'll be really nice to see the Mustangs end out their seasons on a high note.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it seems like we'll have us coming up on Cptv. Listen to the sound of rap group Hieroglyphics.
And 2 different festivals are coming to town this weekend.
Typically, you know, there's been a few cases where kids have actually gotten into some significant trouble, but for the most part, from what I can tell, is that that's mostly been outside of the supervision of the WOW leaders.
Welcome back to Cptv. We had a busy entertainment week.
Cptv reporter Ali Wente joins us to update us on the vibe of the Central Coast this week.
Thanks, you guys. We had a really busy week filled with a ton of music, and we're going to have a fun-filled weekend. The Hieroglyphics rap group gathered hundreds of students in the University Union this week. The group, based out of Oakland, California, has been together since 1991 and independent since 1996. They deliver their music straight to fans without taking money or using the power of major corporations. Members of the group went to the same elementary school and lived in the same neighborhood throughout their childhood.
Natural progression in our friendship, you know what I'm saying? We went from breakdancing to like, let's start rapping, and then we was kind of good at it.
Hieroglyphics' next show is tonight at the Catalyst in Santa Cruz. You can listen to more of their music and purchase their albums on their website, hieroglyphics.com. The 3rd annual Memorial Day Beach Party concert is tonight at the Avila Beach Golf Resort. The concert will feature The Cataracts, Swayze, Out of Sight, and the Starting Six. Singer Deb was the original headline act, but canceled her performance due to a family emergency. Slow Safe Rides will be providing round-trip transportation for $10 from Pappy McGregor's Pub on Monterey. Tickets will be sold for $17 at the gate. The Avila Beach Golf Resort is also hosting the Tequila Festival tomorrow. The festival will run from 12 to 4. This is a look at a music video from the featured band Ozo Motley. In addition to plenty of tequila, there will be a Mexican cuisine and beer as well as a live mariachi band. Tickets are $45. For more information, go to www.avilabeachconcerts.com. The California Festival of Beers kicks off today at the Madonna Expo Center. The festival will run through Sunday, and proceeds go to Hospice Flow. There will be over 70 breweries offering more than 300 different beers. The schedule includes several tastings as well as competitions for both professional and home brewers.
Wow, it sounds like we have a lot of big names coming to San Luis Obispo within the next week or so.
Yeah, it was a good music week. Hieroglyphics was amazing in the University Union, and this weekend is going to be awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely looking forward to Memorial Day weekend and getting out there and going to all these events. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to Cptv. You can catch us every Friday on Charter Channel 19 and Campus Channel 2.
And you can also find our broadcasts on every day at the Mustang Daily website, www.mustangdaily.net. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic 3-day weekend.